yet May, this month, is National Mental Health Awareness Month. And really we should start with the most common issue. That's anxiety. In a recent West Michigan survey, 38% of adults said either they or someone in their home suffered from anxiety, more than any other physical or mental issue on the survey. Dr. Greg Mallis from Pine Rest is with us today to help us better understand it and cope with it. Good morning, doctor.
Good morning.
Let's start with how to identify it. I mean, people have off days. People may feel the blues. What's the difference between that and suffering from anxiety?
Well, so the first thing to note is that anxiety is just part of the normal human emotional spectrum. We're all going to experience anxiety at one point or another. It's problematic when it becomes a disorder, right? When the anxiety starts interfering with our ability to live our lives and to function the way that we want to. And so we'll know that that's happening when we're not able to do the things that we need to do. We're too busy stressing, thinking about things. We don't get stuff done. We're having difficulty concentrating. We might feel our heart racing at times or sweating more often than we would like to be. Those are all signs that the anxiety is starting to become a little bit overwhelming.
Okay, overwhelming is a good word. I think in the service industry they call it underwater.
Yes.
Right? Where you're just in the weeds, right? You just feel like you can't get yourself out. So if we notice this, it's not just an off day, it's really affecting my ability to do my daily tasks. How do you respond to that? Because I mean, that's really, it's kind of a self-fulfilling prophecy. You feel this way, and then the actual thought of dealing with it just adds more anxiety.
Sure, yeah, absolutely. So the first thing to do is really you want to just acknowledge I'm feeling anxious, right? Just be able to say that without the negative judgment put on yourself, because again, all of us are going to experience anxiety, and at times it becomes overwhelming. So next, what we want to do is we want to try and use that anxiety to move us into action. What typically happens for many people is that they get anxious, they start overthinking things, and then they just get stuck and they freeze. So what we want to do is take that anxiety and motivate us towards action, to do something. If I'm anxious about a test that's coming up, I want to move myself to study. If I'm anxious about a trip that I'm going to go on, I want to move myself to start packing and start planning that. If I'm anxious about a conversation I want to have with somebody, let me start thinking about how I can have that conversation and find opportunities to start it.
And then how does someone at Pine Rest, obviously this is what you do, you help people get to that motion.
Oh yeah, all day long.
Right? So as a parent though, I just got a teenager, okay? So you're dealing with those hormonal changes and whatnot. But kids and anxiety, we hear about that a lot lately. How do we help them?
Absolutely. I mean, again, the first thing is to teach them what anxiety is, what the purpose of it is. Anxiety is really there to motivate us to think about something and then to act. So we normalize that for our kids. We don't shame them for it. We don't tell them that it's not a thing that they can do. We help them to understand it. And then we give them some tools. So we start with deep breathing just to regulate your body a little bit. Because when your body is out of control, when your heart is racing, it's much harder to think straight. It's much harder to do anything. So we start with breathing and grounding techniques. And then we think, so if I'm anxious about this, what are the options of things that I can do? How can I put something into practice that's going to help move me towards some sort of resolution or outcome with this anxiety?
It sounds like the tips for the children would work for the grown-ups too.
I mean, it's all the same thing, just a little bit higher level.
Absolutely. Doctor, thank you so much for the time this morning. We want to offer the option for you to contact Pine Rest. If this is you, someone you know, just feeling overwhelmed, as the doctor said, you can get more information at pinerest.org/anxiety. Or if you just needed somebody to talk to you right now, it's toll-free, 1-866-852-4001. Thanks again for the time this morning, doctor.
Happy to do it.
Absolutely.